Inside Story Uganda. Real source of political updates.
Those are killing people are more powerful than Museveni. That's why. For me, okay. I was at Mutukula border at 6. I can give you photos. I was at Malaba at 6, the same time. Malaba. And I was at home. Yes. So. Never get I knew that I was going to be arrested, taken to a fake judge, and when you ring, be a Saija of Luzira. They prepared a cell for me. I'm telling you.
So what do you do? What did you do?
Baulira ngantiaji. You baby go mwenda.
No gain.
Bana.
No duka no gena ne kunsalo.
Ngandi wangi. I've been seen in 3 places that day. Don't think that the people who rang that I'm at Mutukula. I was at Mutukula at 6. I was at Malaba at 6. And I was at home outside my home at 6. Mukanisa nabademu. Mukazi wange yanonyeza na embula. Mukazi wange yagudde nyumba. Nanonya na embula. So you don't know who, whether you are me or my twin brother. It is true. Mirundi has been seen at Mutukula border at 6. I can give you photos. Mirundi has been seen at Maraba at 6. I can give you photos. My wife looked for me in the house. I was not there. But I was in my church. Irankulaga natambudde kuba mu tired. Naba driver wange naba sirikale. Balize wange ne babagamba mu kimyani. Talimu. The man is not around. Tolowooza nti amasimu ge mufunye. Even my son Rangami, Tamale. Abantu bonna bankubidde amasimu.
Njodduse gwanga. Ofulumye gwanga.
They saw me at Mutukula board. Kakati nze nasembyeyo okutegeera nga ndi mu 44 nga njolekera Masaka. This is when I lost my consciousness.
Ebintu byo nga bikuprotectinga.
I came out at the border at 6. Nejogera n'abantu ku border. Njogedde n'abantu n'ebifaananyi weebiri ati Malaba. Bukyajoga yajoga mwatajoge. Bukyajoga yajoga atajogeka. Bukyabajooga bajooga mwate. Nze mama wange aseka busesi. Mama wange bw'omubulya nti oyo yabula. Mama wange n'omugazi oyo yabula aseka busesi. Mama wange n'ogendayo kati n'omugazi Mirundi yabuze.
Okay. Tamale, tukubire torch. Who is likely to be the next government chief whip? Now the twin speaker and deputy.
Njagala okwebaza omusajja Besigye.
Dr. Kiza Besigye.
Eyaleeta abaana be n'abavubuka abalungi ennyo. And what you should ask yourself. Nawandika akatabo kange nti a malicious footballer. Today, abantu bonna bava mu FDC. If you wanted a woman, Hajeti Mukwaya is a lawyer. Yava mu nsiko. Yakubwa dda. Mukyala Njuba yakubwa dda. Nalweyiso yakoze ensobi. Yagamba, we know where these people are. Nalweyiso bamuguddeko fayiro. Abayisisi. Ate nti bwegamba nti bakuguddeko fayiro. Towakana. Yaleeta bano bamongi.
Dr. Beseba,
when a revolution matures, I'm telling the NRM people, I'm writing. Kanu, waliwo omusajja nga bamuyita Mbuyiko Inange, nga gwe tuyina wano.
Mbuyiko Inange ye tata wa Jeff Koinange gwendaba.
Yakuba abantu bonna n'abamalawo. What happened? Moi, who came from Kadu, yafuga Kenya. We are likely to get Bobby Wine or somebody. Mao. Singa abakyoli babadde bagezi oba kye baali bakoze baaleetaddewo by election Mao n'ajja. Mao bwe yalize, you don't need to have a house there. Ugizimba myezi 6. Abakyoli baali bafunye a leader aba political party. Enjoka zaali batokoze.
Okutokotaani NRM.
Anti ekibalo kiba kikyuse.
Kikitetuwa ekibalo kubanga kati ab'omu mambuka bawulira nti balowooza waliwo obusosoze babasosola wano na wali.
Let me tell you, when you hear tribalism, is a Muganda talking. tribalism means Muganda talking. Nabagamba nsinga mukwata abaganda amanyaka abaganda fake 10 ne muganda bayina meeting yisegulawo file. Let me tell you, the northerners were used by somebody. I prefer northerners. The easterners are fools. Baganda cannot be busy. Museveni allowed to create a subterfuge in his government. So look Babu Tambi won Nemunyonyo meeting. Nankabilo has disappeared. What does it mean? It means enale muteina bana. Abayo baba kubene bakola ki?
Kubanga initially abo mambo kabadi bagala muntu wawe yabadda mu just speaker.
No, let me tell you, I sympathize with the northerners. Why? A government is like a mirror, window shopping. A government in Africa rotates around ethnicity. A government in Africa is like a party. What does a party mean? A party means where you have plenty. No, nze Syria kumikolo. Ne wange waka wenyini. My wife's sign ngandi demere yawe. Era waliwo mutane wange mulwadde.
They sign?
Zentambula ne
ndize nakufumbidde.
Yes. Somebody must take a responsibility in the marriage end day. Sign.
Ngoba kumbira kubunke.
Anti nedda. Wabusikala so legite kama obutubo and the other person. Syria kyagulu. Nentambula nempeke zange. One of my sons are sick. Era mugembe gendo lete empeke ziri. Nze nywa tampeko yebisiriza every day. Nywe tampeko to kill poison. Museveni takiza nti abantu beba obutwa.
So why do you sympathize with the northerners?
Why I sympathize with the northerners? Governments depend on service delivery. Museveni's government is no longer capable of delivering service delivery. All of the money that is supposed to cater for service delivery is stolen.
By who?
For instance, Museveni borrowed from World Bank $400 million. Amasenyeze gabune ekwanga lyonna. Leya bakuba omusajja ava eruhengeri tuheyo ne bakuba Omuganda baali bamusse ingini ya Ruswama namutwala bwerifu 3 abaali bamugoba motoka neegwa nebatirawo nezido stampu jeziri ku byalo kitegeeza ki aba northerners zikiriza kuolanya. We have reached a time to reduce the government. Ati ojijeko. We have reduced the government to olumbe. Nti abali empombo bebako. Kakati bana banozana ichibakayanya. Nti government ya Museveni sikyali ku service delivery. Government ya Museveni abatudde ku table nga mwina
ebifo bibere ring festival ebityo ku region nebitundu
abantu bonna unless you are at the center nga toli muko mu government ya Uganda tokyasobola kutwala mulumbe. Government ya Uganda efuse lumbe nti olanya yabadde ali ku table kakati baagala balete n'omulala
asigale ku table. So
kati government ekyali ku service delivery.
Wabeera ne government eno muoli kye kisooka but again
nze sigirimu.
No, oli mu government ya
government. What is my role? Tell me my role. I'm a friend of the president, but me I cannot be an advisor. Why? A general cannot become a platoon commander. I rejected the job and sit down. I will never be an advisor to anybody.
Okay, so abacholi brother abomambo
yes,
obawa magezi abomumambo
Abaganda
obawa magezi
manyirwa cha Abaganda tufete tufa
no but mao bagende mu by election.
Uganda wants private sector. I've not been in government for the last 9 years. Naye kye bankoze kulumba business zange ndi baleta basi kuba nakamunye 10 baleta ki. I'm a businessman. So if these people abali mu government noyo muganda wange singa yandeka singa sine chema mbavuma kwagala kunja poza nino kwavuala
So kati oba wa magezi
tetwagalangako kubeera mu gavumenti when the government fetwaleeta Museveni Paulo Mwagala agamba bw'osoma akatabo kange akamuhoozi ojja kukisanga abaganda twawagira Museveni Paulo Mwagala natta abaganda bangi nnyo naye Museveni twamulemerako ffe twagala kubeera mu business sector omukazi akuba owino yatukola obubi abba takisi naleeta owa butoda yatukola obubi fe abaganda tetwagalangako bifo byammwe tuli mu private sector abakyoli kyebalina okukola kutwala mawo ne bafunayo leader of a party najja mu parliament ate nga leader waki kubanga kati gavumenti ya Museveni lumbe walina okubawo abatwalira emmere anti walina okuba yes ampadde ki mu myaka omwenda
akayita the lion nga tugenda katabo kano mwami Tamale nga tugenda katabo kano waliwo angambye wano naga mwami Tamale mu ngambire ampe comment ku bigambo bya Dr. Lilian Aber ono member of parliament wa Kitgum yavuddeyo n'agamba nti oluvannyuma lw'okwekalakaasa okwali Seattle mugenzi ng'atwaliddwayo aga nti aba NUP balina kusooka kwetonda if they don't do it tebalina kusala genda kuzikolanya.
And let me tell you, what do they want? Politics is numbers. How many Achoris? Whether you are elected in Acholi, you will come to Kampala. Bobby Wine controls Kampala, controls Uganda. Unless you remove the city, Bobby and Tabagala. But the issue is, which awaits these people? The President Museveni yaleeta omukazi Parliament nekalantinga bazimbe eddwaliro embodani hospital. Olanya didn't do it. This is what awaits. Kubanga baba ina opportunity ogende bwero okola nze nsaba Katonda babattireyo.
Okwekalakaasa okwali Seattle kwali championed by Baganda. In fact,
the first person to receive
nebigambo bya Chief Justice
must resign. That one I have never respected that Chief Justice. Why?
How?
Does Owinye Dolo come from one of the prominent chambers? Owinye Dolo, I have known him for a long time. Owinye Dolo was a simple lawyer, a poor lawyer. Owinye Dolo only came on the limelight when he negotiated a deal with the rebels. Owinye Dolo was also secretary of the Land Commission, where he helped me to acquire land. Owinye Dolo tumanyiga mukazi we yamuyira butto kyovula bakola bwati
naye yagambyeko ku bano abekalaka yaga ethnic leader wamwe yenga yagenda
anti kankubuulire where Owinye Dolo loses the point abaganda tukugamba weefumbira otya notakuta. Why should these people go abroad? I suck at those people who kill them there.
You can't thank
yes babatireyo fetukugamba
so yagala batereze wano.
Yes, eddwaliro weriri baligalantinga that Libyan woman is getting her money nabagamba nti ebintu bibiri eri eddwaliro ne pipeline tujja kusasula sente za Tanzania nga temuli mafuta nagamu kubanga pipeline weita wonna bawambawo ono gundi Katumba Wamala azimba Busabala naye original gundi inland report yali malaba musajja ne bamuteekako emmundu musajja ne bamudusa emisinde kakati mmwe kimuliko
so oyagala Chief Justice
was unlike the Kabaka. The Kabaka is a citizen of Uganda. You have denied Uganda funds to create his own hospitals. So if the Kabaka comes to you for assistance, yes, he's like a woman, a married woman. I tell you, labor pain is affecting me. Hire car, banga kwetoyina, lwakito wagula motoka. Nayolanya abadde mu parliament all of these years. Nenge talabanga ko mugaso gwa ddwaliro lyawafa.
Okay, mwami Tamale.
Kakati kankubuulire. Njagala kukubuulira. Let me stress one point. At 6, I was at Mutukula. And I took photos with the people. At around 10:30, I was at Malaba. And I took photos with the people. But this is not the first time to do this. I told you that even if you lock my house, if they need me, I come out, which is a day locally at my home. My wife used to see that I was a night dancer. She locks the house when they need me. Nenkugamba, omwana wange can move at 6 ewaffe ku kyalo era bamumanyi. By 10 nga tali mu mmotoka aba atuuse waka n'omwana we. Era akugamba talina na bigere ebimuluma. Ono muwala wange gwe bayita Winnie abeera nnyo ku TV, manya abeera nnyo ku ebyo social media. Is now a married woman. Ye yaggulira ab'ebuddo. But Winnie yasanga abaana bange basoma nnyo mu kyaki. Yagenda okusoma ekyengera, abakazi babiri ne bajja. Emwaga mwana gwe oyagala amazzi ag'omukisa. It was towards Christmas. Bamukuba kalifomu ne bamutwala e Hoima. But was fed and a human blood kali mu container. When the slaughter man bamusaddake came, yamubuuza oli mwana wani tiwa Tamale Mirundi. Ho! Oh no! Omukambwe tie. But before the man, before she was going to be slaughtered, a tall woman, omukazi omuwanvu, abaana bange bonna bamulaba, yali nakanjako. Sister wange, ye mwana w'okubiri ewaka, is dead, but whenever you have problems, she appears. Yagamba yagamba mama nga wata ndije abaana bani. That tall woman appeared in the compound.
Omwana nawona.
Namugamba Mandwa yagamba omwana weeyo mumuzeeyo nabagana okukwata ku mwana wa Mirundi n'owakasira eggwanga from Hoima. Ne bamuteeka mu mmotoka naye ng'omukazi omuwanvu yabakulembedde tebayinza muyisa bamusuula kitende ku ddwaliro. So when I say that I can be in the 3 places at a time, bano baali tebamanyi. In fact, it was wrong for me to work in the government. Mama wange nakugamba ti mama wange bamugamba omwana w'omugezi naye tajja kusoma. Pleaded. My mother went to a shrine once. Naye yakola bubi. Yavaayo mangu yagenda okulaba nkaziyidde. Mandwa n'agamba gwe fuluma mukazi gwe. Bagenda okuwa verdict ey'okubiri sirikola. Kyokora nagenda mu State House ne bankubirayo. Me am not supposed
to work in government.
But my mother's steward one, highly intelligent, he must have a master's degree. Ne bonjoka sikomango.
Todda mabega.
Sidda mabega.
Ogamba olinga kachi?
Ninga pigi. Museveni mwagala nnyo naye bali bamunyiigira. Yampisa bubi nnyo ne bagayuka kasasiro ne bagayuka wa kakati soma akatabo ako. Sidda mu gavumenti ya Museveni.
Kale kansoma akatabo ko ne omwana muwalona yagala omulimu abagamba nti wa senior 4 yagala omulimu gwonna asobola okukola ku mobile money asobola okukola ku dduuka bane mu muyambe agaba mita mire 075M 83 89 34 asobola omuyamba muyambe 075M 83 89 34. Well, akatabo kano kengenda okusoma gwali ku Radio 4 ne Radio 7 bakayita The Lion and Maasai Warrior. Kawandikibwa The Lion and Maasai Warrior, The Casualties of the Succession Battle. Kawandikibwa mu Tamale Mirundi. Kakyali kapya nnyo ddala kubanga wano waga nti authored today 7th March kawandikibwa nga 7 omwezi ogwokusatu guno at my residence at Zana, completed at 10:30 AM. Kawandikibwa mwezi guno gwennyini weeks nga 2 emabega wekagwera. Kakati ketwagala tutandikako wano omutwe gugamba The Lions and the Maasai Warrior. The Baganda have an interesting proverb which says leke mandwe tule nga kyeyaga nga nga kye yalagula kituukiridde. The proverb asserts that a traditional diviner is respected if what he predicts comes to pass. It is for this same reason that I have earned respect and popularity among Ugandans, for in many cases, whatever I predict comes to pass. For instance, I predicted that the political future of Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, Amama Mbabazi, and Henry Tumukunde, even before they actually took on President Museveni in the race for power. It is on this basis that I have written this book to officially announce that Odrek Ruabwogo will bolt from NRM, his father-in-law's political party, to contest in the forthcoming 2026 presidential elections. Even before I started writing this book, I have been talking about this issue on many of my radio and television talk shows, and I have always concluded my writings, the future will exonerate me. Omutwe, the story of Ugenya Kingdom. Okay, Ugenya Kingdom. 5 years ago, I published a Luganda book titled Musanje Ngarwana ne Mukodomiwe Ruembao. In English translation, the title of the book tells how King Musanje struggled to save his king from son-in-law Ruembao. I narrated the story that happened in this fictitious kingdom called Ugenya, and I wrote, Ugenya Kingdom was like other kingdoms of the time, and the inhabitants of Ugenya were good people who were also very hardworking. Unlike other kingdoms that suffered constant succession battles, whenever a reigning king died, Ugenya had a properly laid down succession process. This kept Ugenya Kingdom more stable than any other kingdom in the region at the time. Ugenya had a strong army because it had fought many battles with its neighbors from Ugatanza Kingdom. In addition, Ugenya had a good climate and fertile soils, which favored food production and kept the people secure from droughts or famine that constantly ravaged other kingdoms. This was the source of envy from Ugenya neighbors. Ugenya was also endowed with natural resources, national parks that preserved animal species and birds, as well as saving wildlife from extinction. This was easy because the people of Ugenya had adopted species of animals and birds as their totems and therefore had to jealously protect them. Finally, Ugenya had a big lake from which its people used to catch fish for food and export the surplus to neighboring countries. In my submission, I elaborated that Ugenya had a clear succession process where power rotated within members of the royal family. I also reported that King Musanje was not only king of Ugenya, but was a celebrated warrior who had led the Ugenya army to many expeditions during his youth. Before Musanje took power, Ugenya was rife with constant inter-kingdom wars as other kingdoms attempted to annex it or install puppet kings. For example, a puppet king called Obuto had taken over the kingdom and almost wiped out members of Ugenya royal kingdom. This is the liberation battle that earned King Musanje popularity among the Wagenya. Musanje almost single-handedly spearheaded the war that removed Obuto from power, restored the kingdom, and the elders later installed him as king. This is why Ugenya had enjoyed peace and stability under Musanje's leadership. Among the priorities he has identified is the importance of a strong army. Like with any young man, the elders pressurized him to get married and have a family so that he can bring forth a successor. After settling in, Musanje married a beautiful girl called Jalia. But Jalia produced daughters which annoyed the elders. Musanje was forced to marry a second wife who produced 2 sets of twins. King Musanje, equally excited and given his background, he named one of his male twins Mukenzi, one who looks far and detects the enemy from a distance. However, because it took long for Musanje to get the pair of twins and the 2 sons, by the time Musanje came of age, the daughters were ready for marriage. One of the daughters was married to a younger man called Ruembawo. But Ruembawo came at a time when King Musanje had not Chikumi Musatu Katenyeze Satu Radio 4 Ensonsuze Nze Adam Kunga Kata mukensoma bakaita The Lion and Masai Warrior. Kanzilimu akantu wako. However, because it took long for Musanje to get the pair of twins and the 2 sons, by the time Musanje came of age, the daughters were ready for marriage. One of the daughters was married to a young man called Ruembawo. But Ruembawo came at a time when King Musanje had not produced a son. Therefore, Ruembawo took advantage of this vacuum and played many roles, some of which were a preserve of members of the royal family. Ruembawo's conduct attracted the attention of the royal family and the public. His roles and the proximity to King Musanje became common talk in bars and other public places. King Musanje defended him by saying that since Ruembawo had no royal blood, there was no way he could succeed his father-in-law. He also agreed that Ruembawo attracted much attention because Prince Mukenzi was still young. However, as the saying goes, where there is smoke, there is fire. Ruembawo was on a mission. He created an affair. No. He created an air of confidence and fear. Many people inside and outside the palace started fearing to mention his name in public and resorted to whispers. Ruembawo infiltrated all sectors of the kingdom. He started an organization teaching younger people the objectives of the kingdom and how to protect Ugenya from future enemies. Through his organization, he stressed the need for modern society where people could be free to choose their leaders in a democratic fashion. On a number of occasions, Musanje was alerted by the elders about the younger man's schemes, but he dismissed it as envy, as his son-in-law was mobilizing the youth and imparting modern ideas into society. Whoever stood in the younger man's way would be sacked immediately. Ruembawo never hesitated to invoke his mother-in-law's name every time he wanted to instill fear in his rivals. To consolidate his influence and defeat his enemies, Lwembawo recruited a shrewd young man from his group, which comprised of mainly people from poor families with no roots in the Ugenya kingdom of politics. The notorious group was composed of, among others, Kajiko, Sugula, and Kobushegu, the one who spreads poison. Emerging from nowhere, the group dominated the kingdom politics. They had no respect for elders. Using their proximity to both Queen Jalia and King Musanje, they replaced all people who were royal to Musanje. Sungula and Kobushegu were experts in fabricating stories against Musanje's loyalists in order to force him sack them. On the other hand, Kajiko was a notorious thief who targeted other people's businesses and at times the women. This group isolated King Musanje from the population as well as his father, as well as his former loyalists. It is this isolation that weakened Musanje's administration capacity. On many occasions, his decisions depended on fake reports from Sungura and Kobushegu, who were experts in malice. Armed with this influence and power, Lwembawo started his plans to become a king. Remember, he has no royal blood and he is an outsider. Secondly, there was no way a son-in-law could succeed his father-in-law. However, since the group had isolated Musanje from the elders and his former allies in the liberation struggle, these factors blinded Lwembawo to harbor succession ambitions in this regard to Ugenya tradition. Among those who Lwembawo targeted was Mirandira. Mirandira was a stubborn man, but very clever. You could dismiss him as a fool or a drunkard, but he was King Musanje's Mudingidi, one who plays music for the king. He also used to crack jokes, and he was a good commentator. Mirandira's speech kanzijewe nsembi zino katono nnyo nzije ntandikire ku Mirandira tovaawo katuje.